Today in the kitchen, we are celebrating Black History Month by recreating a Southern Black favorite and probably something that we all grew up eating regardless of who you are, and that is meatloaf. But I will say it wasn't my mom's meatloaf that was not moist, because you know you can never say anything bad about mama's cooking, right? And no, I'm not under duress right now. Now, meatloaf from a historical perspective has been around even before the Great Depression. And in fact, many people have reimagined it in very different ways, not just here in the US, but also around the world. Now, here in the States, I grew up eating a meatloaf that was really heavy on the ketchup and tomato flavors. Meatloaf was a well-intentioned dish. It was made during the Great Depression because it was a cheap way to feed a whole lot of people by making a big loaf of meat. So you could actually feed and show love to your family with very little. So today I'm gonna take this very little well-intentioned recipe and see if it's something that I can reimagine as an adult to be something that I would like. Now, meatloaf is usually paired with something like a potato mash, and so instead of that, we're gonna enjoy ours with a cauliflower mash with some peas to help to boost the protein and the heartiness of this dish. So, if you are ready to roll up your sleeves for this reimagined version of meatloaf, then let's get started. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is prep our veggies for our meatloaf. So, I'm gonna be using bell pepper, onion, and a little bit of garlic. Next, we're gonna take a skillet. We're gonna fire it up on medium-high heat. We're gonna add in a little bit of olive oil, and in go the bell pepper, onions, and garlic. Add a little bit of sea salt. We're gonna cook this down. We wanna remove some of the bite from the onion. Now, at the same time that this is cooking up, I'm also gonna set a pot on medium-high heat, add a little bit of water, and I've got some cauliflower florets in here steaming. Here's an optional ingredient. I'm gonna be adding in some Worcestershire, and we're gonna cook this the same way that we would as if we just added some wine to it. Now let's start building our actual meatloaf. All right, now it's time to roll up our sleeves. First off, we're gonna swap out the ground chuck, and we're gonna use 93% lean ground turkey. Do not, under any circumstance, use 99% lean ground turkey. What is that stuff on the top of the wall, like the ceiling? It's like the popcorn. Looks just like that. Gonna add in our sauteed onions and bell pepper. Crack open some eggs, 1 and 2. We're gonna sprinkle in some of the FitMenCook Everyday seasoning and a lot of sodium so we can be really generous there with the flavors. And a little bit of smoked paprika. Add in some fresh parsley. This is from our studio garden here. It's pretty dope to be able to take something that we've grown and add it to recipes now. I mean, but store-bought's fine too. We just like to really track our footprint in the world. Are we annoying yet? Are we annoying yet, Jesse?
Are we that hipster cooking channel yet?
The only thing we need right now is a Peloton bike. Kevin! Hold up the parsley. I'm gonna chop this up. Sprinkle in parsley. As another binder and flavor enhancer, I'm gonna sprinkle in a little bit of grated Parmesan. And speaking of binder, we're also gonna add in my old pal, some arrowroot. Boom, you thought it was just for sauces? No, it's also a great binder. And lastly, we're gonna add in some quick oats instead of some panko. It keeps everything gluten-free if that's important to you. This will require you to get your hands dirty. I'm just gonna do the first part, chopping it up. I like to spray my hands with a little bit of oil before I do this. Plus they're kind of ashy. It'll help it from not sticking together so much. Grab yourself a baking tray. I'm gonna lightly spray it. I'm going to get the meat, take it out of here, and I like to use a firm spatula to help me to shape it. Almost looks like a football. Now for the hardest part of the recipe for people like me, ketchup. That's one of the main reasons why I disliked meatloaf as a child. I found some veggie ketchup, and this is literally tomatoes, carrots, squash, and spinach puree. I'm gonna add in a little bit of Dijon. I'm gonna hit it with a little bit of vinegar. I'm gonna add in some coconut sugar. Since we're not gonna smoke this on the grill, you can add in just a tablespoon or a few drops of liquid smoke as well. That's an optional ingredient. I'm gonna mix everything together. So we're gonna take it, we're gonna add almost about half of our sauce on the meatloaf. Spread it out. We're gonna bake this uncovered for about 30 minutes at 400. All right, so I've got my freshly steamed cauliflower here. Sprinkle in a little bit of the FitMenCook Everyday blend. I'm gonna add in a little bit of butter and a little bit of cheese. This is some goat cheese. And lastly, for a little bit of cream, we're just gonna add in a splash of almond milk. And I'm gonna use my immersion blender, just to press down and lightly just blend everything together. Now we're gonna finish this off with some fresh thyme, hit it with a pinch of sea salt, some black pepper, and the final ingredient I'm gonna add in are some frozen peas as a nod to a typical Kenyan dish and also other African countries, idio, which is basically a mash of potatoes, corn, and peas. Gonna cover this so that it stays warm, and then we're gonna serve everything together. Oh man, this smells good. Lather it up with the rest of the sauce, and we're gonna place this back in the oven for another 20-25 minutes. After 25 minutes, wow, complete. Hoo, 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 hoo. Let this cool down for about 10 minutes before slicing it open. Cuts like butter. Oh my. All right, Jesse. Now it's time for most important part, the taste test. Can I like meatloaf as an adult?
Yeah.
Ma'am, I think I may have outdone myself. I would literally eat this. Taste this, ma'am. This is really good, Kev. Would you eat that? I'm not a big fan of meatloaf.
The only meatloaf I've ever had has been like dry as all get out.
This is not dry.
Moist, that's tangy.
Yeah. You know what? I'm just gonna tell myself I did a good job, man. Y'all can't tell me nothing today. This is really good meatloaf. All right, guys, that is it for today's video. I hope that y'all really enjoyed it. I want you to comment below how you make your meatloaf. Share with us some tips and tricks and ways that you maybe thicken it up, make it juicy, not dry. The things that your grandmama would actually tell you that you maybe don't want to disclose to the whole world, but you would do that right now just because you care about all of us. Go ahead and put those down in the comment section. And if you like videos like this, don't forget to hit that like button. And if you're new to the channel, what up, how you doing? Don't forget to subscribe, and remember, you have to ring that bell, ding, 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 so that way you can be notified every time we post hot new content here in the FitMenCook kitchen. All right, y'all, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, I want you to keep it healthy, but of course, never, ever boring. Boom! Bye, peeps.